Okay, welcome to the second episode of The Inside Scoop, your inside look into what's happening at Chest. I'm today's host, Clay Cole. I serve as president of the American College of Chest Physicians, and in my day job, I chair the Division of Preventive Occupational and Aerospace Medicine and have a joint appointment in Pulmonary Critical Care Medicine at Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. You know, there is so many exciting things going on at this time of year here at Chest. We're 2 weeks away from the Chest Congress in Bangkok. We have about 1,000 people signed up for this awesome event, and we have more than 400 abstract submissions for it. We have our spring board meetings going on right now here in Glenview at Chest headquarters, and we're continuing to move forward with a number of live learning courses on ultrasound and interventional bronchoscopy and other areas, and in preparing, of course, for our big annual meeting, our Chest 2019 in New Orleans, and you'll hear more about that later. Today's show is entitled The Why. So why do clinicians, not just doctors, but nurses and respiratory therapists and other key stakeholders, all members of our healthcare teams, why do they join Chest, and why do some members get involved with Chest and then go on to become leaders within this great organization? How can you become more involved and advance your personal career and establish yourself as a leader among your peers? So we'll talk more about this, and I've got two guests with me today to talk about that. And I want you to keep in mind that at the end of the show, as we do for all Inside Scoops, we have the big question, and Dr. Bill Kelly will be asking today's big question. And so on social media, as you know, we're live on YouTube, and you can find us at youtube.com/ACCPchest. And in that platform, you can send in your answers and also send us questions that you have that pertain to any Chest activity. So on Twitter, we're at #ChestInsideScoop, or you can submit your questions to the YouTube live chat box. So let's move on to talk to our guests. So today I have two special guests with me. It is a Canadian invasion, no less. We have Dave Zielinski, who chairs the Council of Networks. Dave's a pediatric pulmonologist at the Montreal Children's Hospital and an associate professor at McGill University. And also with me is Chris Hergott, who is chair of the Chest Membership Committee and is also serving on the Canadian Assembly for Chest Procedures at the Canadian Thoracic Society. He serves as a clinical associate professor at the University of Calgary. So welcome to you both. And let's start out and ask you, Dave, how did you first hear about Chest? I mean, as we jokingly say, you're way up there north of us in Minnesota, up in Canada. How would you hear about Chest, and how did you get involved initially?
So even as a fellow, you often hear about Chest as being a place with excellent education, excellent offerings. As a pediatric person, it's often more thought of as an adult organization. But even then, some people who I've worked with had been involved, a few mentors in my field. And then eventually, years down the line, one of the respiratory therapists I worked with was on one of the committees, and she strongly encouraged me to come get more involved and join.
So really, a respiratory therapist actually mentored you to come here.
Absolutely. She was the head respiratory therapist at the government-run home ventilation program on the committees here, and kind of encouraged me for 2 years. And eventually I said, you know what, I'm going to give this a try.
Well, that's great. Chris, how about you? How did you come to know about Chest, and how did you get involved initially?
You know, it was actually kind of a rite of passage, if you will, when I became a pulmonary fellow. So my program director and all the staff that I worked with said, this is something you have to do. You have to join Chest because it's great meetings, good education, which was sort of, this is just what you have to do. And the nice thing about it, Chest actually was very supportive of me as a fellow. I went to Salt Lake City, Utah for an asthma conference that, applied for and had paid for, and so it was very welcoming. It was great for me because it was, and I needed to learn a lot of that stuff, and it was just sort of a natural thing to do. It makes sense.
Yeah, so it sounds like becoming a Chest member is the first step, and once you get into membership, a lot of us, wonder, well, what else can I do? I mean, there's a lot of excitement going on. It's a great opportunity. Maybe I can expand some networking and get some mentorship outside of my own institution. How did it work for you guys? Dave, what do you remember when you first started getting involved, and what did you start with?
So first, when I first came, I came to the what used to be called the Home Care Network business meeting. Got to meet a lot of people there. A lot of people who helped me. People who I actually was able to make some great connections. And when I went back to my clinical world, was able to send off emails, texts to find out, here's this patient. How can you help me with? And the connections I made there were incredible, and it actually made me decide a year later to run for the steering committee position on that network.
Interesting. And I guess, so I guess to follow up with that, I mean, a lot of people that may be watching or listening, what are networks, and how does that work here?
So networks are kind of our special interest groups that focus on specific areas. So we have 22 networks. We have some networks that encompass very large areas like critical care or sleep medicine. And we have other networks that are much more specific, such as occupational health. We have a network on home-based mechanical ventilation, neuromuscular disease. We've got networks for respiratory care, interprofessional programs. So I think we have something for almost everyone. And they've come together as groups, as organically, and they're really there to help support CHEST. And as kind of mentioned before, it really is a great way to meet and make connections with other professionals. When I joined the network, I had someone who was probably one of the most well-known people in the field really take me under her wing and really mentor me and really gave me opportunities to get involved in various studies that were involved, got me on to review articles and papers that really helped me in my career, and both to help care for my patients. And I think that's what really, when it comes down to what networks are, that's what they can offer and they can do.
That's great. Now, Chris, you're Dr. Hergott. You're in charge of, I guess, for lack of a better term, in charge of our membership committee, and so a committee is a little different than a network. And I guess, what are committees responsible for from your perspective?
Yeah, so committees sort of provide oversight to very sort of specific areas within the organization, and that can be things like education or finance, membership, scientific programming, so many different committees. And then our job is to sort of work to ensure that our CHEST members address CHEST issues related to our members, related to patients and communities. So if you think about what the membership committee does, we make sure that you have good value for your membership, that you enjoy being a part of a CHEST, and that we provide you with great things and make it worthwhile for you. And so that's our job, and we're always trying to make things better. And then a lot of the different committees look at other things as well, education, again, scientific programming. So we sort of do a bit of the groundwork within the organization to make things work for everybody else, for all our members.
Yeah, I know, and I was able to sit in on part of the membership committee meeting yesterday, and I know your group had spent a lot of time figuring out how we can make the experience for our members really a seamless process. Everything from renewing memberships to getting involved in committees and things like networks. So, I believe committee nominations are coming up. Is that right, Chris?
That's correct. Yeah, they're coming up in April. And you can actually go to chestnet.org /get involved. So just go to the website, go to the Get Involved, and then you can send us a message if you're interested.
Yeah, so I guess the question is why? If I'm someone that's never really been on a committee before, why would I want to get involved and take my valuable time to participate in that kind of activity?
That's a great question. And when I first started out as faculty, I thought the same thing. Like, I go to CHEST meetings and I think, well, this is great, but why would I do that? And one of my mentors, who's actually a past president at CHEST, Darcy Marcinuk, was the one that pushed me towards this. And it's been hugely helpful for me because you get to meet the cream of the crop across the country, across the world that come here. You learn so much in terms of seeing how these people manage the organization, how they network, and it's a huge benefit in terms of just developing your own personal leadership skills, which has been hugely helpful for me. And it's nice to be able to give back to the organization, which I think is very is a great thing to do. So from that perspective, I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, no, those are really good points. And Dr. Zielinski, now anyone can join a network. Is that correct?
Absolutely. When you renew your membership, there is an option to check off which networks you want to do. Something new this year is that we're actually asking you to designate 2 primary networks, or up to 2 primary networks, and as many secondary networks as you want. And that's going to impact in terms of how much communication you're going to get from the networks and calls for involvement from them.
You know, I was sitting in on the Council on Networks meeting yesterday, and I heard something about a networks challenge. What more can you tell us about that?
So the Networks Challenge is a plan we have with the Chess Foundation. The Chess Foundation does incredible work for patient education and materials, and this is a fundraiser that we're challenging the networks and network members, kind of a little bit of a competition amongst the networks, a friendly competition to see who can raise certain amounts of money. And it also brings back to members and networks in terms of being able to get travel grants to attend the meeting, and really to help bring more and more individuals to the meeting who otherwise might not be able to come. So something we encourage everyone to get involved with. You can go on to the Chess Foundation website for that.
So, of course, when we're talking about the meeting, we're talking about Chess 2019 that you remember is going to be in New Orleans in October, and we're extremely excited for that. Our scientific program chair, Bill Kelly, the wizard behind the Chess Challenge, is in his laboratory brewing up more innovative solutions to having an awesome meeting. We've talked about it being the big easy, and you'll hear Bill tell us again that that it's a big meeting, but we also are making it easy for our members. So I want you to get your fingers ready to answer the episodes of the big question, this episode's big question, which you'll hear shortly. So actually, Dr. Kelly, you want to give us the big question for this episode?
Well, great. Thanks, Clay. So this time we're going to take a question out of the Chess Journal, and we'll pick from either the January, February, or March edition. Chris, you're the guest. Why don't you choose for us?
It's a difficult choice, but I think I'm going to go with March today.
All right. So very hot off the presses. You might have this journal actually sitting on your desk, so it's easy. Plenty of great stuff in that edition. The Pulmonary Arterial Hypertension Therapy Guidelines. There was ARDS, lung cancer, pleural catheters for hepatic hydrothorax. Our Dr. Shulman and his group had sleep medicine curriculum for your pulmonary fellows. So a lot of good stuff. But this question, let's see, we'll be on lung replacement therapy, kind of a cutting edge article this recent month. And just to review, for free registration to Chess 2019 New Orleans The Big Easy, we're going to take the first correct answer on Twitter with the hashtag ChessInsideScoop, or you can enter a comment into the text box under this YouTube broadcast. Are we ready?
We are.
All right, thank you, Andrea. So, and the question is, a bioengineered artificial lung is still a little ways off. One of the challenges relates to size. According to the article, in a native adult lung, what is the surface area for gas exchange? We want your answer in square meters. First guess within 5 square meters wins. And go. Good luck.
Well, we've been talking about networks and committees, and that's just 2 of many ways that you can get involved in the organization. And we do hope you choose to get involved this year, 2019. The easiest way to access what opportunities there are is to go to chessnet.org/get-involved, and that's GET with a hyphen and involved, for details on committee nominations and network activities. And there's always a lot of stuff going on. It's a great opportunity to start out and then to advance to leadership of those particular committees or networks. For example, in the network, there's the steering committee, and you can become a chair or vice chair of the steering committees. You can also find out more about Chess 2019, our annual meeting in New Orleans coming up this fall at that same link. And the registration for the meeting itself actually opens in April. So we're really excited to get people registered. The advantage of registering early is to get your accommodations there. We expect a really high demand for this year's meeting, so it's going to be important to get registered early. We also want to remind all of our members out there that you can take the stress out of remembering your membership fees by opting into Dues Auto Renew on your Chest My Account page. I know I always seem to forget, and I usually get the nasty gram from the office. It's like, oh, I thought I paid that, and it's usually never any ill intent, but it's just really easy to click auto renew. I think most of my bills, I'm starting to do that now, or I get the nasty grams otherwise. I want to thank you, Dr. Hergott, and you, Dr. Zielinski, for your time here today, and for all of the work that your committees and networks are doing, and of course, we want to thank you, our members, for sharing your questions today and participating in the big question. And that being the case, did we get any answers back yet on the big question?
I've got one person.
Let me see.
All right, Dr. Kelly is stepping away from his secret potions.
Clay,
got it.
we have a winner, and who is it? It looks like this was from our YouTube, or okay. Looks like a Raj Yalashmi Guram guessed 65 square meters within our target of 70 square meters. So he is our winner for today and gets free registration to Chess 2019.
All right.
Congratulations.
Raj, you're the man. All right, that's awesome. Good for you. Well, thanks for tuning in today. That was probably worth your time to tune in today just for the big question alone. So the idea of the Inside Scoop, it's recorded live here at Chest, our Chest Multimedia Studio here at Chest headquarters in Glenview, Illinois. And so stay tuned on details for our next episode that will be coming up later in the summer, as we'll have another big question, of course, and other guests that are involved in other Chest aspects, committees, networks, and we'll be continuing to share information with you so that you're more knowledgeable about not only how chess works, but what's actually going on as part of the Inside Scoop. So thanks for your time and have a wonderful week.